The boy merely participated in the weapons selection ceremony and left the family elders utterly astounded, simply because the boy caused all the family's sanctuary-grade weapons to resonate. Even weapons that already had owners were responding to him. You must know that gaining resonance from a single sanctuary-grade weapon already marks one as a genius among thousands. So what kind of prodigy must this boy be to earn recognition from every weapon? While Lee Cheol originally intended to gain everyone's acknowledgement, fate played a cruel joke on him. He was diagnosed with abnormal meridians, destined never to practice magic. No matter how hard he tried, he could at most reach the 9th level of warrior. This was absolutely fatal in a martial family that revered strength. His selection by the Holy Sword also became what people called an accident. But despite this, Lee Cheol never gave up on himself, training desperately to prove the doctors wrong, finally reaching the 7th warrior level at age 25. And even though this was a realm his other siblings achieved before coming of age, he was still very happy. However, happiness was fleeting, as Lee Cheol was expelled from the family at age 30. This was already the best outcome for Lee Cheol, because without his elder brother's help, he wouldn't have kept his life. From then on, Lee Cheol spent 10 years in exile. Chaotic times had arrived, unexplored regions expanded, and monster invasions became frequent. But an even greater event occurred. That was the death of Lee Cheol's father, who was called the pinnacle of martial arts. He was also found by the Shadow Blade Squad, a direct subordinate unit of the sect master. Lee Cheol asked how they had found him, but they directly ignored his words, handing him an envelope and saying this was his mission. Lee Cheol sighed helplessly. "This cursed bloodline will follow me to death." In the letter, Lee Cheol learned that his third brother Lee Sheng had become the family head. But what about elder brother? The Shadow Blade Squad captain turned and told Lee Cheol to meet in 1 hour. Lee Cheol asked coldly what happened to elder brother, but the question was again ignored. Lee Cheol continued asking, "I'm a 7th level warrior who hasn't held a sword in 10 years. Why send me to explore unexplored territories?" The captain turned back with a sinister expression. "So you're refusing the mission." Having no reason to refuse a mission meant death, so Lee Cheol had no choice but to agree. 1 hour later, Lee Cheol followed the Shadow Blade Squad to a desolate building. Accompanying Lee Cheol were other clan members. As soon as they entered the main gate, what met their eyes were massive monster bones and scattered remains covering the ground. However, before they could understand the situation, the Shadow Blade Squad members made their move. They began massacring everyone. Lee Cheol stabbed one person through with his sword and asked, "Who is the mastermind behind this?" That person grabbed the blade and spoke, "We were ordered to bring you here and eliminate you all as efficiently as possible." After speaking, he actually crushed the blade with his bare hands. Immediately after, the wounds on his body began healing. Lee Cheol was kicked away by the man. This single blow left Lee Cheol unable to fight, but he didn't give up. Looking around desperately for a weapon, finally he spotted a sword embedded in the monster's skeletal jaw. This was the sword that killed the monster. Though the blade was covered in rust, it should still be usable. Lee Cheol grabbed the iron sword, but the blade began disintegrating, and his opponent had already reached Lee Cheol's back, mercilessly striking down with his sword. Lee Cheol collapsed powerlessly. "Am I going to die like this? I tried so hard to stay alive. If only I could live again." After an unknown amount of time, Lee Cheol gradually regained consciousness. The first thing he heard was his father's voice. Opening his eyes, he found his father looked very young. Even Butler Kui appeared young, and his own hands were like those of an infant. "What is happening? Have I been reborn?" Father Lee Taixin instructed Butler Kui, like the other children, assign him a maid and some Shadow Blade Squad members as guards. Let him participate in the weapon selection ceremony together with my 8th child. Moments later, the two left the room. Lee Cheol breathed a sigh of relief. Though it had been long since he'd seen father, his oppressive presence was still as strong. Lee Cheol moved his arms thoughtfully. What exactly is going on? Recalling father's words just now, he indeed participated in the awakening ceremony with 8th sister in his previous life. Though he couldn't believe it, it seemed he had truly returned to this damned past. Several months passed like this, and Lee family's most special day arrived. The weapon selection ceremony, where family children demonstrate their talents based on different weapon choices. Father was chosen by dozens of swords, therefore becoming the strongest swordsman of his generation. Elder brother was chosen by sword, magic book, and staff, thus becoming famous for his excellent magic and swordsmanship. And today, Lee Cheol would participate in the selection ceremony. A maid stood before Lee Cheol smiling. Our young master looks so handsome, not crying even in strange surroundings, truly so composed. The maid embraced Lee Cheol. I believe you will achieve great results. Maid Moon cared for Lee Cheol like a mother would, but due to Lee Cheol's other siblings, she was dismissed. She was the only one who stayed by his side, crying for Lee Cheol's loneliness. Lee Cheol vowed not to let this happen. He would protect Moon at any cost. Moments later, the selection ceremony began. People in the venue whispered about Lee Cheol. Is that bastard going to participate in the selection ceremony? Family head Lee Taixin walked to the center and announced the ceremony's beginning. The eighth son Li Hua would go first. Lee Taixin grasped Li Hua's hand, then cut Li Hua's finger with a knife. Li Hua wailed, blood dripping to the ground. The ancient sword in the innermost position emitted brilliant light. That was the top-grade holy relic sword, the ivory sword, a legendary blade among legendary blades that hadn't responded in generations. Lee Taixin drew the ivory sword to his hand. From now on, this ivory sword belonged to Li Hua. Someone immediately began congratulating Li family's first lady Bai Huiyan. Another genius had been born to this family. Bai Huiyan nodded in acknowledgement. Next came Li Jie's turn. People in the venue discussed how a bastard could participate in the selection ceremony. Li Taixin took Li Jie. Even when his finger was cut by the knife, Li Jie didn't cry. Seeing this, Li Taixin touched Li Jie's head and praised, "Truly remarkable." Li Jie felt somewhat nervous. In his previous life, he was chosen by the sword called Heavenly Sound, known as Qing Sheng. Would this lifetime be different? The boy merely participated in the weapon selection ceremony and left the family elders utterly astounded. Simply because the boy caused all the family's sanctuary-grade weapons to resonate. Even weapons that already had owners were responding to him. You must know that gaining resonance from a single sanctuary-grade weapon already marks one as a genius among thousands. So what kind of prodigy must this boy be to earn recognition from every weapon? The family head asked everyone present to quiet down, then loudly announced, "According to family rules, all weapons that resonate should belong to this person, but doing so is obviously impossible. I want to hear your opinions." Someone raised their hand to express their opinion. Even if giving these weapons to him follows family rules, it violates the meaning of the weapon selection ceremony. This is a ritual that must be passed down through generations. How about we let him choose one weapon himself? Family head Lee Taixin immediately agreed with the man's suggestion. Then Lee Taixin arranged the weapons before Li Jie. "Now my son, choose a weapon you like." Though Li Jie wasn't sure why this time's results differed from his previous life, the current situation was better for Li Jie. So he would definitely change his previous life's fate. Li Jie kept crawling inward, ignoring one weapon after another comparable to divine artifacts, until he crawled before a sword with imposing presence. This sword, named Knight, was discovered by the Li family's first head in unexplored territories, a weapon full of mystery. No one knew how to use this sword's hidden power. Its known abilities weren't sufficient to make it a sanctuary-grade weapon. It was placed in the sanctuary-grade weapon pool only out of respect for the first family head. This sword hadn't chosen a master for hundreds of years. It seems this is just a meaningless choice made by an infant. Could this be another kind of divine will? The family head picked up Li Jie. Then he raised Knight and declared, "He has chosen the Black Dusk. The ceremony is over." The first lady above looked at Li Jie with a dark expression. "This lowly bastard. If he interferes with us, then we can only eliminate him." 9 years passed like this. On this day, Li Jie went to the training ground to practice as usual. But the worried Moon insisted on accompanying him to see him off. On the way, Moon asked Li Jie, "Other training grounds are empty. Why must he go to training ground number 1? And training ground number 1 isn't spacious either." Li Jie indicated someone was waiting for him at training ground number 1. Just then, they heard training sounds. Li Jie looked at the person inside and said indifferently, "Is that father's 8th child?" Moon quickly said. "Young master, you should call her sister. If others hear us, we'll be in trouble." No matter how Li Hua swung her sword, her instructor said she wasn't qualified. Li Hua angrily threw her sword to the ground and threw a tantrum. The instructor humbly tried to comfort her. Li Jie asked Moon who that person with the difficult job was. Moon responded, "He's the Black Altar Squad commander Bai Lixian." Li Jie said indifferently, "He's too mature, can't teach a 9-year-old child." Moon looked at Li Jie somewhat guiltily, then comforted, "Soon there will be an excellent teacher who appreciates young master's talent. I'm very sorry for not being able to take good care of young master due to my incompetence. Miss Hua has been eating various nutritious baby foods since childhood." Li Jie said seriously to Moon, "There you go again. I keep telling you I'm grateful for everything you do. I don't want to be like her either. They all come for the Li family's reputation, and I already have a good teacher." Moments later, Li Jie arrived at training ground number 1. This place symbolized the Li family's glorious history. It now seemed more like a symbolic area rather than a functioning training ground. But Li Jie came here for a reason. Compared to other training grounds, the weapons stored here were mostly very old. Li Jie found a sword about to crack from the weapon storage. After his rebirth, Li Jie discovered he had a special ability. That was reading memories from weapons. The older the weapon, the more memories it held. Gripping the old sword tightly, scene after scene of the sword's memories flowed into Li Jie's mind. Li Jie followed the memories and continuously swung the iron sword. Thus, Li Jie successfully completed an entire set of 7-star sword techniques. After 2 years of training, Li Jie finally mastered the 7-star sword completely. Just then, applause rang out. I haven't seen such perfect 7-star sword techniques in a long time. A man walked in. He was Lee Cheol's uncle, a 4th-level martial artist, Lee family's grandmaster Lee Cheol. Though born as a concubine's son, his strength was recognized, currently serving as a general. Whether in his previous life or now, he was one of the few family members who genuinely cared for Lee Cheol. Lee Cheol bowed to greet his uncle. Lee Cheol touched Lee Cheol's head, indicating he didn't need to be so formal, then smiled at Lee Cheol. I'm proud that you come to the training ground every day. I can see you every day after work. Being discriminated against by siblings must be hard, but I hope you can overcome it. Lee Cheol said indifferently. Uncle, I'm fine. No matter what, I'm still Lee family blood. Prove yourself with the sword. I know this is the meaning behind our clan's name, so I will prove myself with my own strength. Lee Cheol was shocked by Lee Cheol's words, then sighed. Why is this child a bastard? Then Lee Cheol spoke. You're almost at the age to participate in the destiny ceremony. Though it's somewhat late, I'm willing to become your teacher before the destiny ceremony. How about it? Are you happy? But Lee Cheol shook his head in refusal. Lee Cheol asked incredulously, why are you dissatisfied with me as your teacher? Lee Cheol waved his hand. No. Isn't there a rule about not having teachers before the destiny ceremony? I don't want to put you in a difficult position. Your siblings openly violate all the rules. They receive training from excellent teachers and eat various supplements from childhood. Lee Cheol touched Lee Cheol's hand and said, I believe rules shouldn't be broken, even if others are breaking them. Like I said before, I want to gain recognition through my own strength. Lee Cheol was shocked. Is this really just a 9-year-old child? Those eyes are just like when I look at my elder brother. Lee Cheol sighed. It seems I can't change your mind. You're as stubborn as your father, which is troublesome, so your uncle can't do anything for you. I can't do anything. This makes me very troubled. Do you need anything else? Lee Cheol's eyes immediately brightened. I was waiting for you to say that. Lee Cheol scratched his head. To be honest, there really is something I need your help with. Lee Cheol immediately said happily, tell me what it is. Lee Cheol grinned and said, I want to visit the secret vault. Lee Cheol agreed to his request. Lee Cheol followed Lee Cheol to the secret vault. People say the Lee family's secret vault contains countless divine artifacts. Lee Cheol was very excited about this. What he was looking for was here. Lee Cheol told Lee Cheol, the vault's basement was where weapons were stored. They were sealed for certain reasons. Lee Cheol acted like an excited child and said innocently, I heard monster-like weapons devour their own masters. Lee Cheol smiled and nodded, then said ominously, as long as you hold such weapons, they will eat your heart and body. So are you afraid? Lee Cheol said with insufficient confidence. I'm not afraid. Moments later, the elevator reached the basement. Lee Cheol let Lee Cheol look around inside while he handled other matters. After sending Lee Cheol away, Lee Cheol exhaled. Pretending to be a child is really tiring. The secret vault's basement was called the Weapons Tomb. Countless weapons and relics were sealed here. I came all this way to find that mysterious weapon, the dagger named Wujin. But just by injecting magic power, it could transform into various weapons at will. In his previous life, third brother Lee Junsheng obtained this weapon. With Wujin's ability, he gained the title of Ever-Changing. This was also why Lee Junsheng became the clan leader. And after Lee Junsheng became clan leader, he sent people to find me and eliminate me. This is all I know now. To prevent this from happening, I must obtain Wujin first. Black energy emerged from Lee Cheol's hand. Then Lee Cheol read the memories of dagger-like weapons one by one. But after an hour, he still hadn't found it. However, Wujin must be here, just as Lee Cheol wanted to search deeper inside. A rust-covered dagger was knocked to the ground by him. Lee Cheol reached for the dagger. However, just as he was about to touch the dagger, the energy in his hand was directly absorbed into the dagger. In an instant, black energy enveloped the dagger. Lee Cheol's consciousness became blurry. Then he found himself on a battlefield of mountains of corpses and seas of blood. Is this the dagger's memory? Why is it different from reading other weapons? Now it's like I'm actually present, so vivid. Just then, an extremely strong oppressive force struck. Lee Cheol turned around sharply. He saw a massive monster standing behind him. That monster was an ancient apocalyptic demon that emerged from black holes in ancient times. Lee Cheol's legs trembled continuously. Am I going to die? There's no way I could defeat such a monster. I must escape quickly. Just then, a blood-covered man appeared behind Lee Cheol. That person leaped into the air in one bound, then struck with an attack called Demon Pierce. The strike directly cut the monster in half. Lee Cheol was dumbfounded. How is this possible? To defeat such a powerful monster with one strike, and when the smoke cleared, that man stood before Lee Cheol. Then this man actually turned to look at Lee Cheol and asked, Who are you? Why are you here? Lee Cheol's heart was in turmoil. He can actually see me. Before Lee Cheol could compose himself, the man raised his sword. I'll let you die without pain. After speaking, he struck at Lee Cheol with his sword. The next second, Lee Cheol shuddered and suddenly awakened. He successfully returned to reality, but he still couldn't stop trembling. What exactly happened just now? That heart-pounding, oppressive feeling was so real. Just then, the rust on the nearby dagger began falling off. Lee Cheol grabbed the dagger. "This is right, this must be it." Lee Cheol cut his finger, then dripped blood onto the dagger. Lee Cheol was extremely excited. "I will become the king of 10,000 weapons." Wujin in Lee Cheol's hand emitted brilliant light. With Lee Cheol's mental command, the dagger instantly transformed into a long sword. Finally found this divine artifact. Lee Cheol looked at the dagger in his hand with great excitement. "This lifetime, I will become the king of 10,000 weapons." Lee Cheol transformed Wujin into a ring and took it out of the secret vault. Over the following 7 days, Lee Cheol practiced every day the swordsmanship that man in Wujin's memory had demonstrated, but never succeeded. That man only showed the technique and name of the sword move. Perhaps the man felt it was still too early for Lee Cheol to practice it. Setting aside its power, just from his movements one could feel the pleasing beauty of this technique. Lee Cheol couldn't replicate it at all. But this wasn't a problem, because Lee Cheol had plenty of time. In his previous life, Lee Cheol was a waste expelled from the family, unable even to learn the family's basic martial arts. This was Lee Cheol's first time experiencing such high-level martial arts. Lee Cheol firmly believed he could do it. He remembered every one of that person's movements clearly. Thinking of this, Lee Cheol suddenly realized something. That person's movements were performed with an adult's body, while Lee Cheol was just a 9-year-old child. A child imitating adult movements naturally couldn't display the proper power. Lee Cheol understood he must adapt this technique to his own body. He closed his eyes and carefully felt. After adapting the technique bit by bit to his own body, he struck with his sword. This sword strike was quite powerful. Lee Cheol was extremely excited. He had successfully grasped the key. Now he just needed to solve the problem of magic usage. But no matter how many times Lee Cheol tried the magic usage method from his memories, they all ended in failure. It seemed he had forgotten something important. Lee Cheol sighed. He could only continue trying. Lee Cheol continued swinging his long sword, but suddenly someone grabbed his sword. Lee Cheol was immediately startled. A woman holding his sword asked him, "Where did you learn this technique?" Lee Cheol looked at her dark hair and brown eyes. She must be a direct descendant of the Lee family. Lee Cheol asked who the woman was. The woman seemed somewhat surprised. "You don't know who I am." Then she clapped her hands in realization. "It's normal that you don't recognize me, because I rarely go out." Then the woman extended her hand and asked Lee Cheol his name. Lee Cheol gave his name. The woman grabbed Lee Cheol's hand and began shaking him left and right. "Your name is very special. My name is Lee Jinghua." Lee Jinghua was Lee Cheol's aunt. Lee Cheol had heard from his uncle that aunt was a very unique person, not well liked by others. Lee Cheol was thrown around by Lee Jinghua. Lee Jinghua covered her mouth and said, "How are you so fragile?" Lee Cheol was speechless. "Why can't you consider that you're too strong?" Then Lee Jinghua continued asking Lee Cheol where he learned that technique. Lee Cheol asked Lee Jinghua why she wanted to know this. Lee Jinghua responded, "What you used was ancient martial arts. I really like ancient martial arts. That's why I'm asking you. Ancient monsters also lived in that era, you know." Lee Jinghua took out a notebook and said this was a gift for Lee Cheol. Lee Cheol took the notebook and examined it. Though he found it difficult to understand, he could see this was a technique for using magic. As he flipped through further, Lee Cheol discovered it contained not only magic but also martial arts. These techniques were all very advanced and difficult to understand easily. Perhaps the rumors about Ant might not be true. Lee Cheol asked Lee Jinghua what the latter part was. Lee Jinghua indicated this was ancient old-style magic based on magic pathways. In the past, only magic pathways were used instead of magic circles. Modern people's magic stores magic in the heart and then uses it. But is treating ancient magic as antiques really correct? Lee Cheol was somewhat surprised. This was a thought he had never had. Lee Jinghua continued, "In terms of magic usage, perhaps that era was superior to now. So I'm researching ancient martial arts, but there aren't many records." After hearing this, Lee Cheol immediately wanted to verify his own thoughts. He returned the notebook to Lee Jinghua and asked her to wait. Lee Cheol picked up his sword and circulated magic. This time he let magic spread throughout his body instead of gathering it in his heart. This was the magic power usage technique of that person Lee Cheol had been unable to understand. Lee Cheol forcefully struck with his sword. This time's power was even stronger than before. Even Lee Jinghua was stunned. Lee Cheol was overjoyed, finally succeeded. Lee Jinghua excitedly grabbed Lee Cheol's shoulders. "You used ancient martial arts, right? How did you do it?" Lee Cheol said displeasedly. "Why should I tell you?" Lee Jinghua said incredulously, "You figured it out by looking at my notebook. I depend on this to survive. For over 10 years I've been searching for ways to use it. What do I need to do for you to tell me?" Lee Cheol held up 3 fingers and said indifferently, "Agree to 3 conditions. First, don't discuss me with others without my permission. Not even with my elder brother and father." Lee Jinghua asked curiously why. Lee Cheol indicated he didn't like being talked about. Lee Jinghua nodded with a complex expression. Lee Cheol continued, "Second, you can't lie to me. We need mutual trust. Li Jinghua looked troubled and pondered for a while. Then she determinedly clenched her fist. All right, what's the last one? Over this past year, Li Jie had been researching magic with his aunt every day. A new type of magic that combined modern magic based on magic circles with ancient magic based on magic pathways. This was Aunt Li Jinghua's lifelong dream. Accumulating magic, changing its characteristics in magic circles, then using magic pathways to control and use the magic. Thanks to this method, Li Jie could use magic more effectively than his peers. And today, Maid Moon came rushing to the training ground with a letter to find Li Jie. Li Jie took the envelope and examined it. This was a naming ceremony summons. Li Jie noticed the person in charge wasn't his father, but Li Mingzhen acting as proxy. Li Jie found this strange. He hadn't heard news of father going out. Li Jinghua beside him suddenly roared, "You're going to participate in the naming ceremony. I just grasped the key points. I need your guidance more than ever. After the naming ceremony ends, you'll have to stay there. No, don't go participate in the naming ceremony." Li Jinghua looked pitiful, pleading with Li Jie not to go. Li Jie helplessly refused. Then he told Li Jinghua not to worry. Though there would be less time, he would still continue researching magic with Li Jinghua. Li Jinghua asked incredulously, "Really? Because you'll be very busy with classes." Li Jie said confidently, "I will simultaneously conduct magic technique training and ancient magic restoration." The next day, Li Jie came to the training ground for class. Today's task was to endure magic attacks for 30 minutes. The instructor was Blood Tiger Squad Captain Zhang Shu. Zhang Shu originally thought Li Jie, this bastard, would at most last 2.5 seconds before giving up. However, Li Jie's performance shocked Zhang Shu. Zhang Shu saw through Li Jie's intentions. That child was testing his own limits. He was comparing himself to 8th sister Li Hua to check his own level. He was forcing us to give him higher difficulty courses. But he's just a 10-year-old bastard. Is he really just a bastard? After seeing Li Jie's talent, Zhang Shu changed his thinking. He needed to reflect on himself, not just to cope with the naming ceremony. He would teach him with all his effort. After training ended, Li Jie stretched. Li Jie also recalled instructor Zhang Shu's attitude. He hadn't expected Zhang Shu to apologize to him. His attitude toward him had changed. Thinking this, Li Jie wanted to go rest. Just then Li Hua suddenly appeared and attacked Li Jie. Li Hua said coldly, "Hey bastard, we need to talk." Li Jie shook off Li Hua's hand and asked what she wanted. Li Hua pointed at Li Jie angrily. "Speak to me politely. I'm legitimate and you're a bastard. Plus I'm 1 year older than you." Li Jie turned away impatiently. "I don't have time to deal with you." Li Hua became furious upon hearing this and channeled magic while roaring, "Don't look down on me." Li Jie was somewhat surprised she's actually using magic. He had originally wanted to ignore her directly. Li Jie dodged Li Hua's punch, then grabbed Li Hua's throat, then lifted Li Hua by her collar and said coldly, "If you want to complain, go find your mother. I'm busy. Don't bother me." After speaking, Li Jie released Li Hua. As soon as he let go, Li Hua shouted, "This is all your fault. It's all because of what you did at the weapon selection ceremony. I'm always being compared to you. Why can't you just hide your identity like other bastards? This isn't fair. I can't sleep at night. I don't even eat snacks. Training desperately every day. While you're just a natural genius, I don't want this either. But mother." At this point, Li Hua suddenly covered her mouth. Li Jie said with no emotion, "Always blaming others must feel great. Like you said, I'm just a bastard, so I can't blame others. If you can't sleep, then don't sleep. If not eating snacks can't catch up to me, then don't eat meals either. If you hate me, then do everything you can to surpass me, then I'll apologize to you. This is how this family operates." Li Hua clenched her fists and shouted, "Arrogant guy, I'll achieve greater results than you at the naming ceremony and crush you. I'll definitely make you beg me for forgiveness, you remember that." Li Jie turned back and nodded. "Good, I'm looking forward to it." After separating from Li Jie, Li Hua went to the training ground to train. Li family's first lady Bai Huiyan came to the training ground. Bai Huiyan had all the servants leave, then slowly walked into the training ground. Bai Huiyan asked Li Hua what she was doing. Li Hua stopped her movements and said she was training. Bai Huiyan said coldly, "I heard about how you lost. I told you to defeat your opponent. I'm very disappointed in you. If you're training just to avoid being scolded, then don't do it. I don't even want to scold you now." Li Hua looked up. "I'm training because I want to train myself. No matter what, I will defeat him, but not because you made me do it, but because I want to do it myself, so I'll handle it myself." Bai Huiyan said ominously upon hearing this, "So you were inspired by that bastard?" Li Hua didn't know how to respond for a moment. Bai Huiyan lifted Li Hua's chin. "You're the Li family's legitimate child. Your status was different from that guy from the beginning. It's natural for you to beat him, but you were instead inspired by him." Bai Huiyan took out a small bottle. "This thing is called Lost Dream, extremely poisonous. If you can't surpass him, then kill him. This is the Li family's way of doing things." And Li Jie only took 3 months to reach comprehensive strength first stage. Maid Moon hugged Li Jie with relief. Just then there was a knock at the door. Li Jinghua pushed open the door and shouted, "Little treasure, let's go train together." Li Jie said reluctantly, "I just finished training." Li Jinghua said with her eyes closed, "So we should go. Exercising your magic can relieve your fatigue." Li Jie said speechlessly, "I've never heard of such a thing." Li Jinghua said guiltily, "It should be true." Li Jie shook his head. "Forget it, let me show you something." Li Jinghua saw the report card on the computer. "You actually reached 1-star stage. Modern magic arts require going through 3 stages. The body strengthening stage that enhances the physical body, the Qigong realm that changes magic's nature, the superhuman realm that displays supernatural abilities through magic. But Ant's magic was different. Even at the same first stage, it could demonstrate more abilities. Therefore, Ant's magic was rated by star levels. Li Jinghua felt the magic within Li Jie's body and said happily, "Perfect. This is definitely 1 star. Was learning how to use the magic pathway difficult? I thought it would take a year." Li Jie recalled with lingering fear. "I comprehended it during class. Looking back, it's still frightening, because I couldn't control the magic power. Well, I almost broke the balance between magic circles and magic pathways. You just need to let things flow naturally. Magic will flow naturally like water. So our bodies themselves are containers full of magic power." Li Jinghua followed my explanation to feel the magic. Then said happily, "Baby, I think I can do it too. Though it might take a long time. I feel like I can do it." Li Jie breathed a long sigh of relief. It seems Aunt has realized it. The next second, Li Jinghua excitedly picked up Li Jie. "Thank you so much, my lucky treasure." Li Jie felt like his ribs were about to be crushed. After releasing Li Jie, Li Jinghua's eyes shone. "Perfect. Now let's continue discussing the 2-star stage. Do you know how your first stage differs from normal ones?" Li Jie nodded. Li Jinghua asked Li Jie what he thought he was best at. Li Jie thought and said, "I think it's swordsmanship." However, Li Jinghua directly rejected this suggestion. Li Jie asked in confusion, "Aunt, didn't you see me practicing swordsmanship?" Li Jinghua acknowledged that she had indeed watched him several times, but she explained that Li Jie possessed abilities far more exceptional than swordsmanship, that being magic. His talent for magic was unmatched, making everything else pale in comparison. "I have taught my magic to others, but no one has been able to learn it." Li Jie felt a sense of melancholy in his heart, realizing he actually had magical talent. In his previous life, he had been mocked for his inability to use magic. Li Jinghua pointed at Li Jie and continued, "This is precisely why I said reaching the 2-star level wouldn't be difficult for you. If you succeed, the naming ceremony will be a piece of cake. From now on, I will teach you the real techniques." Li Jie nodded and stood up, asking about what was beside Li Jinghua. Li Jinghua patted the box. "This thing?" The next second, a powerful gust scraped Li Jie's cheek and crashed into the wall behind him. "Steel balls. You need to move while releasing magical power, because using magic while stationary is no different from dead magic. Now let's begin." Cold sweat broke out on Li Jie's back. Time moved to the next day, when Li Jie and Li Hua began receiving the next stage of training. The instructor introduced himself. "I am Li Chongguan, captain of the Blood Lake Squad. From now on, I will teach you the secret arts of the Lee family. Go over there and choose the weapons you'll use. You have 1 minute. Don't dawdle around." Li Hua glanced at Li Jie. Li Jie asked irritably, "What are you looking at? Do you have something to say?" Li Hua quickly explained that she wasn't looking and had nothing to say. Then she asked Li Jie, "Don't you also use swords?" Li Jie shook his head in denial. He then picked up 2 swords and a spear. Li Hua shouted in confusion, "What? You clearly use swords when practicing." Li Chongguan saw this and asked Li Jie what he was doing. Li Jie replied calmly, "Didn't you tell us to choose weapons?" "I've made my choice," Li Chongguan said unhappily. "I told you to bring the weapon you use." Li Jie stated that what he took was indeed what he used. Li Chongguan said speechlessly, "I thought you were at least not stupid, but I didn't expect you to be an idiot." Then Li Chongguan drew the long spear from behind him. "Remember what I'm about to say. I mentioned I would teach you secret arts, but I won't teach you postures or techniques. In the Lee family, there are many secret arts called enlightenment. To learn these secret arts, you need a foundation. That foundation is awakening the 6th sense sleeping within your body. I'm going to awaken your senses now. Don't be too afraid of awakening the 6th sense." Before the two could understand what Li Chongguan intended to do, Li Chongguan rushed toward Li Jie and launched an attack. But Li Jie actually managed to block this strike. Li Chongguan was somewhat surprised. Li Jie gritted his teeth, thinking to himself that he hadn't expected to have to do such crazy things again. Although he hadn't received this kind of education in his previous life. This lifetime would be different. In the blink of an eye, Li Jie and his companion had been training for a month. During this period, they endured training far beyond what 10-year-old children could typically bear. Every day they suffered various beatings from their coach. But Li Jie had gradually mastered the knack of it. After Li Hua woke up from coma once again, Li Jie remarked, "This is the 22nd time you fainted. I've only fainted 16 times." Li Hua hastily argued that he simply hadn't been prepared. Coach Li Chongguan observed the two children. The legitimate one, Li Hua, had a sturdy physique. Despite constantly attacking them, neither had suffered serious injuries. Then there was the illegitimate son, Li Jie. From the first day, he had sensed this guy was not ordinary. Initially, when he saw him grab a bunch of weapons, he thought he was an idiot. But unexpectedly, he could actually use all those weapons skillfully. Li Chongguan said that training would continue. "Return to your positions." After returning to position, Li Jie whispered to Li Hua, "I'll give you a signal in a moment. Help me block him." Li Hua asked Li Jie why he wanted to do this. Li Jie replied indifferently, "If you don't want to, then don't do it. I just think we can make a beautiful offensive move." Li Hua agreed to this request. She charged toward Li Chongguan, shouting to Li Jie, "You owe me a favor!" Li Jie also rushed forward together. With Li Jie's current level, it was impossible to defeat the coach. So Li Jie had no choice but to use numerical advantage to create opportunities. Seeing the two working together, Li Chongguan said calmly, "Choosing to team up? A good choice." Li Chongguan tilted his head to dodge Li Jie's long spear. Then he knocked Li Jie's weapon aside with one strike. Just as Li Chongguan rushed toward Li Jie suddenly shouted, "Now!" Then he took a backstep to dodge. Li Hua burst out from the side. Li Hua successfully bought Li Jie some time. Li Jie threw away the spear in his hand. Currently, Li Jie's strongest attack move was only one, the piercing demon technique he had learned from Wu Jin. At this moment, Li Hua had already been knocked back by Li Chongguan. Li Jie gripped his sword and rushed quickly toward Li Chongguan. Li Chongguan instantly turned around, wanting to block the sword in Li Jie's hand, but Li Jie released his sword. Then he clenched his fist and struck toward Li Chongguan. This punch landed solidly. Li Jie thought smugly to himself that he had surely succeeded. However, his fist was pressed down by Li Chongguan's palm. Then Li Jie felt a sweetness in his throat. A wave of intense pain came over him. Li Jie was brutally slammed into the wall. Li Chongguan spoke up. "After 37 days, congratulations on successfully awakening your sixth sense." After speaking, he sidestepped to dodge Li Hua. "You're still far from ready." Li Hua couldn't stop her momentum and crashed into the wall himself. Li Hua angrily cursed at Li Jie. "I trusted you so much. How did your plan fail?" Li Chongguan looked at his reddened palm. He had actually used magic to block that attack, though only a small amount. Still, this violated the rule against using magic. That kid had excellent combat awareness and would surely become the family's most fearsome member in the future. Li Hua awakened her sixth sense on the 47th day. The two graduated from Li Chongguan's tutelage, and Li Jie spent the remaining time practicing and reviewing what he had learned. During that period, Li Jie's eldest brother Li Mingzhen came to see him. Li Mingzhen was the eldest son of the Li family. He had been granted the title of Twin Star, with his magic and martial arts reaching the second level. He was a formidable expert, whom people both admired and feared. But to Li Jie, he was his only brother. Upon meeting, Li Mingzhen said to Li Jie, "You are my brother, yet I haven't been able to look after you much. Though this sounds like an excuse, I've truly been too busy." Li Jie indicated it was fine. Li Mingzhen smiled. "Today is the first time we've met, yet you knew who I was immediately." Li Jie responded, "Of course. Although I'm your half-brother, I couldn't not recognize my eldest brother's face." Li Mingzhen said with displeasure, "Don't speak like that. Though we have different mothers, you and all the other siblings are equally my brothers." Li Jie scratched his head. "Sorry." Li Mingzhen sighed. "You don't need to apologize. Just knowing is enough. You don't need to be so formal either. I'm your brother." Li Jie nodded happily while thinking to himself that his eldest brother had been just as kind when he was young. Li Mingzhen reached into his pocket. "This is a gift for our first meeting. I obtained this at the Eiffel Magic University in country F. This is a miraculous potion called nectar, known as the wine of the gods." Li Jie knew how precious this item was. It was a very high-grade magical potion, and Country F's magic tower could only produce 50 milliliters per year. Li Jie happily thanked Li Mingzhen. Li Mingzhen said with some surprise, "You're a bit different. So far, all the siblings I've encountered have regarded me as a rival. I'm glad you're different, though I'm not used to it." But Li Jie denied this. "You're wrong. I don't refuse to see you as a rival. I'm also a member of the Lie family, so don't treat me like your cute little brother. When I grow up, I may very well become your strongest competitor. It will be an exciting competition." Li Mingzhen stepped forward and patted Li Jie's head with a smile. "Good. I look forward to the day you become my strongest competitor." Li Jie thought to himself, "Eldest brother who truly cares for me, this time I will protect you." The much-anticipated naming ceremony finally began. Li Jie and his companion took a boat to the remote Scarlet Blue Island. The color of the land here changed according to the magical power in the atmosphere. Since ancient times, this had been where the Lee family held naming ceremonies. The person in charge on the boat explained the rules of the naming ceremony to the two. Young master and miss, you must survive on this scarlet blue island for 3 weeks. You must prove yourselves. Now we'll distribute positioning devices to you. Please don't remove them. The trial courtroom will open for 2 days after 3 weeks. Best of luck to you both. Upon reaching the island, Li Hua hesitantly said to Li Jie, I have something to tell you. Li Jie replied irritably, Have you finally made up your mind? Li Hua asked in confusion why he said that. Li Jie said calmly, From the very beginning of our education, you've been wanting to tell me something, haven't you? Li Hua immediately asked in disbelief how Li Jie knew. Li Jie said helplessly, How could I not know? Tell me what it is. Li Hua removed the camera from his chest. Then he signaled for Li Jie to also remove his camera. Li Jie also put his camera in his pocket. Then Li Hua took out a bottle. This is a poison called Dream Mist. It only works on children under 15 years old. If exposed to air for more than 5 minutes, it will evaporate. Once you ingest it, it will obstruct your magical pathways. Li Jie asked darkly, Who gave this to you? Li Hua stated that she wouldn't tell. Then she threw the dream mist into the sea. See? Now there's no evidence left. I want to defeat you with fair, not with the help of poison. So you must also give your all in the exam. Li Jie said confidently. I would try my best even without you saying so. When parting, Li Hua advised, Wait until you've adapted to the environment before going to the center of the island. It's very dangerous there. Li Jie indicated he was well aware of this. Are you worried about me or what? Li Hua first retorted, What would I worry about you for? Then she changed her tone. Yes, I'm worried you'll die before I can get my revenge. Remember, don't die. I'm leaving now. With that, Li Hua walked away with small steps. But Li Jie had no intention of adapting to the environment on the periphery. Instead, he headed straight for the center of the island. As expected, Li Hua easily completed the first task of hunting. She killed a vast number of wild beasts, despite this being her first real combat experience. Family elder Li Kun praised her lavishly. After all, Li Hua had awakened her sixth sense in just 47 days. Only Li Chongguan behind them knew that though Li Hua was talented, that was the extent of it. Because Li Hua should have needed at least 2 months to awaken. But she was stimulated by Li Jie to awaken early. In contrast to Li Hua, Li Kun deeply despised Li Jie's actions. Li Jie hadn't gone hunting beasts but was searching everywhere for hiding places. Li Kun said disdainfully, running away like a mouse, What a coward. But Li Mingzhen immediately stopped him. Enough. Finding shelter first in a dangerous place is normal. There's nothing to mock about that. Others who had been agreeing with Li Kun immediately tried to smooth things over awkwardly. Only Li Kun's voice remained harsh. In a martial arts family, being normal is a sin, wouldn't you agree? Li Mingzhen couldn't help but clench his fists. Yes, that's right. For someone from a martial arts family to do what ordinary people would do is quite ridiculous. Mocking a child's background and birth. When did our family sink to this? Perhaps it's always been this way. But what is my brother thinking when heading to the center of the island? Then Li Mingzhen turned his head and saw that Li Taiqing also looked anxious. It seemed he wasn't the only one thinking this way. Meanwhile, Li Jie finally found a decent cave. Li Jie found some banana leaves to block the cave entrance. Then he removed the camera from his hand. Then he covered it with banana leaves. The surveillance room screen immediately went black. Li Chongguan laughed heartily upon seeing this, as unpredictable as always. Now Li Jie could use Wu Jin with peace of mind. Since he had come here, he should take everything he could get to the maximum extent. Li Jie looked at the strange liquid in the bowl. It looked like it was almost finished brewing, but it appeared too bizarre. Normal people wouldn't think this thing was a spirit medicine made from magical herbs. In his previous life, Li Jie hadn't even been able to buy the lowest grade spirit medicine due to lack of money. Fortunately, he had learned how to make spirit medicine by chance. Aunt Li Jinghua had told Li Jie that there were many herbs on Scarlet Blue Island that could increase magical power, so he must increase his mana when he returned. Li Jie felt nauseated looking at the liquid in the bowl. But to increase his magical power, he still forced himself to gulp it down in one go. This deathly taste would be unforgettable for Li Jie for life. The 3-week survival battle on Scarlet Blue Island officially began. 18 days passed like this. Suddenly, a magic circle appeared in a corner of Scarlet Blue Island. Then space was torn open with a crack. A man walked out from it, and his purpose this time was to kill Li Jie, the illegitimate son of the Lee family. At the same time, Li Jie on the other side had already reached the center of Scarlet Blue Island. He encountered Draco, a 7th-level dragon-type magical creature. Draco drew back to gather power. Then it breathed out extremely high-temperature flames. Li Jie concentrated intensely. 1 second before the pillar of fire arrived, he tilted his head to dodge. Then he quickly rushed to Draco's front. Next, he leaped forcefully toward the sky. Magic gathered in his hand. He unleashed that move, piercing demon, thrusting his sword fiercely into Draco's skull. Draco was killed in one strike. Lee Cheol wiped his sweat. Dragons really are different. If I had encountered Draco on the first day entering Scarlet Blue Island, I probably couldn't have withstood even one move. Lee Cheol had taken 19 days to reach dragon territory. There was no need to stay here anymore. He had traveled this far for another reason as well. Just then, Lee Cheol sensed something unusual. Lee Cheol quickly concealed his presence. Moments later, several lizardmen appeared. They were 8th-level magical creatures called lizardmen. Lee Cheol had noticed the situation since yesterday. Lizardmen were magical creatures that lived on the periphery of Scarlet Blue Island. And when Lee Cheol encountered them, the lizardmen didn't actually attack him, but seemed to want to lead him somewhere. Lizardmen were creatures with low intelligence. They were being influenced by something. Lee Cheol decided to test this. Immediately, Lee Cheol burst out from hiding. Sure enough, the lizardmen began fleeing for their lives. After killing several lizardmen, Lee Cheol confirmed his suspicion. Once might be coincidence, but twice couldn't be. Lee Cheol decided to follow these lizardmen to see what was happening. On the other side, the mysterious man sensed Lee Cheol's actions. Seeing Lee Cheol follow the lizardmen, he felt quite disdainful. Just a child, after all, falling for such an obvious trap. It turned out the man was a beast tamer named Zishan. He stroked his pet, confident he wouldn't need to use Plan B. Unknown to him, Lee Cheol was observing him from a nearby tree. Lee Cheol had already guessed this was a trap. What puzzled him now was why outsiders had entered Scarlet Blue Island. However, this wasn't impossible. As long as there was a teleportation array on the island, it could be done. That meant this was the work of someone from the Lee family. Should he notify the family and wait for backup? But the next second, Lee Cheol dismissed this idea. By the time they arrived, it would be too late. The information about the mastermind would also slip from his grasp. So now there was only one choice: to subdue him first himself. Lee Cheol used an invisibility technique. Then he rushed towards Zishan in one swift move. Fortunately, the pigeon in his hand sensed danger and issued a warning. Zishan looked back in terror. Lee Cheol, in his invisible state, hadn't expected Zishan to have a warning pet. Zishan swung his magic wand to block Lee Cheol's killing blow. Zishan looked at Lee Cheol and said, "You are more capable than I imagined." Lee Cheol mocked, "You're just too weak." Zishan furiously controlled the lizardmen to attack Lee Cheol. Lee Cheol channeled magic to use the Seven-Star Sword's third form. He instantly eliminated several lizardmen. But just as Lee Cheol was about to attack Zishan, several iron chains bound Lee Cheol so he couldn't move at all. Zishan shouted triumphantly, "You've fallen into the trap! This is the highest level formation that can cut off 5 people's magic circles. Now you're just an ordinary child without magical power. Meet your death with an immobilized body." Several lizardmen approached Lee Cheol with blades, but Lee Cheol remained calm. "Cut off magic circles? Then I'll use magical pathways." The next second, Lee Cheol tore apart the chains. Using the impact force, Lee Cheol reached Zishan's front. "Where do you think you're going?" Zishan asked in shock how Lee Cheol had broken free from the formation. Lee Cheol said there was no need to tell him these things. He had already transmitted Zishan's appearance to the family through his camera. "Just surrender obediently," Zishan sneered coldly. "It doesn't matter. I'll kill you and regain my freedom." Before Lee Cheol could react, something massive crashed into Lee Cheol's body. Lee Cheol was sent flying by this tremendous force, slamming hard into a tree. Lee Cheol felt like his internal organs were about to shatter. Lee Cheol looked up toward the distance. It was a giant turtle. This was actually Scarlet Blue Island's guardian beast, Turtle Beast Mountain. This was a 3rd-level nightmare-class monster. A monster of this level had actually been tamed by the Beast Tamer, Zishan said proudly. "Although I can't fully control it yet, it will definitely execute the command to kill you. Just give up struggling and die obediently." Lee Cheol forced himself to calm down. He still couldn't fully control Turtle Beast Mountain, which meant he only needed to eliminate Zishan. Then Lee Cheol took out a pill. To fight against Turtle Beast Mountain, he had to take this. He had brought this just in case, never expecting to actually use it. This was a banned drug with severe side effects, the Magic Rampage Pill. Lee Cheol drew out Wu Jin. He decided to use the technique his aunt had taught him, which could only be used in the most dangerous situations. Now was that time. Li Tianshu. Tremendous magic filled Lee Cheol's entire body. Lee Cheol leaped into midair. Then he swung his sword with full force. Although this strike didn't even scratch Turtle Beast Mountain's skin, it was effective. "I'll use this to take it down." Turtle Beast Mountain roared toward the sky. This sound made Lee Cheol involuntarily feel fear. He was horrified to discover he couldn't move at all. Just then, black energy suddenly appeared from Lee Cheol's chest. In the blink of an eye, the black energy covered Lee Cheol's entire body. This black energy resisted Turtle Beast Mountain's roar. Lee Cheol hesitated no longer and quickly rushed toward Turtle Beast Mountain. Tremendous magic continuously flowed into his sword. Lee Cheol unleashed his currently strongest attack, Piercing Demon. The impact of this strike made Turtle Beast Mountain's head instantly snap upward. The magical laser capable of destroying cities shot into the sky. Lee Cheol spat out blood and fell to his knees. He didn't have much time left. Once time was up, he would fall into extreme weakness due to the side effects of the magic rampage pill and the heaven-defying technique. Now only 10 seconds remained. Lee Cheol had to find and eliminate Shishan within these 10 seconds. The next second, Lee Cheol was amazed to discover a red line guiding him. Following the red line, Lee Cheol successfully found Shishan. Only 3 seconds remained. Shishan hadn't expected Lee Cheol to be able to find him. Before he could react, Lee Cheol's sword was already before his eyes. But Lee Cheol realized his sword wasn't long enough. Then I'll make the sword a bit longer. Lee Cheol swung his sword once more. The strike directly tore through Shishan's chest. Success! In the final second, Lee Cheol eliminated Shishan. Lee Cheol took out a small bottle from his chest. His aunt had said to drink this after using the heaven-defying technique. This was precisely the nectar that his eldest brother Li Mingjin had given him. But the next second, Lee Cheol's vision still went black, and he lost consciousness. In his daze, Lee Cheol found himself in a place surrounded by white emptiness. Before he could think, severe pain in his body interrupted him. Then Lee Cheol heard a voice. So it's come to this. Those things are too dangerous for humans. How could those two be in the same body? I hope you don't wake up, but for now, eat. Something fell in front of Lee Cheol. Lee Cheol recognized this thing. A purple honeycomb. Could this be purple cloud jade green? The voice continued, It's not for you to eat, but for him to eat. A new era has begun. Be strong, child, so you won't be devoured by this era. This was the last sentence Lee Cheol heard before losing consciousness again. After an unknown amount of time, Li Hua's voice rang out. Are you conscious? Lee Cheol said weakly. Li Hua? Li Hua said angrily. You brat, actually calling your sister by name directly. I'm only letting you off because you're injured. How is your body? Lee Cheol closed his eyes to sense his body. Compared to his damaged skeletal system, his magical power had increased dramatically. Had he really eaten purple cloud jade green? Lee Cheol said calmly. Just some internal organ damage, plus a few broken bones and torn muscles. Nothing serious. Li Hua exclaimed in shock. What? You call that not serious? Lee Cheol looked at Li Hua, thinking to himself that originally purple cloud jade green had been prepared for Li Hua. Purple cloud jade green was a spirit medicine that could strengthen the body, improve mana, and provide immunity to poisons and curses. Though Lee Cheol had originally planned to obtain this item, he still felt somewhat guilty. Lee Cheol stood up and asked, more importantly, How did you get here? Just then, a voice called out, You too. The person who came was Lee Cheol's eldest brother, Li Mingjin. Li Mingjin hurried to Lee Cheol's side. How is your body? You should receive treatment first. I also brought magic potions. Lee Cheol waved his hand. Thank you, but I don't need magical treatment. Just drinking the potion will be fine. Lee Cheol downed the magic potion in one gulp. Then Li Mingjin asked Li Hua to step aside. He wanted to talk with Lee Cheol privately. Li Mingjin said to Lee Cheol, If you had died, I would have destroyed all organizations related to that beast tamer, regardless of how powerful they are. As a family member, your performance was truly exemplary of a warrior. But as your brother, I cannot praise you. Your actions were too reckless. Lee Cheol scratched his head. I didn't expect Turtle Beast Mountain to appear. If I had known, I would have waited for rescue. Li Mingjin sighed. At least you can distinguish between confidence and recklessness. Then Lee Cheol said, I subdued the beast tamer, so I have the right to know his information. Li Mingjin rubbed his forehead helplessly. I knew you'd say that. This beast tamer was formerly a quasi-martial level wizard in Japan's Onmyoji group, later expelled from the church for attempting to acquire forbidden arts. He seems to have used advanced forbidden magic while Turtle Beast Mountain was sleeping. They wanted to blame your death on the monster. Lee Cheol pondered. Haven't you found out who was behind it yet? Li Mingjin indicated that the beast tamer was barely alive, making it difficult to extract information from him. Upon hearing this, Lee Cheol said, Their target wasn't me, but you, brother. Li Mingjin asked in confusion, Why do you think that? Lee Cheol explained, Because you didn't discover the intruder. They wanted to tarnish your reputation. Li Mingjin scratched his head. You're right. On this point, I can't even pretend it's not the case. Then Li Mingjin patted Li Cheol's head. My reputation has only suffered some damage. That's not a big problem, but I can't stay away too long, so I need to go back. But Li Cheol grabbed Li Mingjin's hand. Brother, how about we make a deal? You predicted there would be a beast tamer infiltration, and you told me in advance. I will testify to this. That way, people will think you predicted intelligence that even the Family Intelligence Department failed to detect. Li Mingjin responded, But telling the truth would be better for you. Li Cheol said calmly, If they knew I accomplished this great feat, they would be even more wary of me. Li Mingjin understood Li Cheol's thinking. A deal is giving each other what we need. What do you need? Li Jie indicated he only needed to spend 3 days in the Golden Pavilion. Li Mingzhen grasped Li Jie's hand in thanks. Li Jie said calmly, "No need for that. After all, this is a deal." Li Mingzhen patted Li Jie's shoulder. "Even without me, you would have figured out how to handle this situation, wouldn't you?" Just then, Li Mingzhen's phone rang. "Looks like I really have to go." After speaking, Li Mingzhen threw something to Li Jie. "I'll keep quiet about that matter." Li Jie caught it and discovered it was Wu Jin. Truly an extraordinary brother. Moments later, Li Hua returned. Li Hua asked Li Jie which trial courtroom he would challenge next. They should be open now. Li Jie asked in return, "Which one are you going to challenge?" Li Hua said unhappily, "I asked first." Li Jie indicated that if he wanted to know, he had to answer first. Li Hua said confidently, "I'm naturally challenging the highest difficulty room, the obsession chamber. So which one are you challenging?" Li Jie said calmly, "The struggle chamber." Li Hua asked in disbelief, "Not the suburban trial courtroom?" Li Jie nodded to confirm it was correct. Li Hua immediately looked disappointed. "You've let me down so much. It seems I overestimated you. There's no need to continue this conversation." Li Jie believed Li Hua was stronger than himself. The trial courtyards had different difficulty levels depending on location. So was Li Hua disappointed because Li Jie chose the suburbs? Think whatever you want. Li Jie groped his way through the forest. He had discovered a hidden cave in his previous life. He would complete the second stage of the naming ceremony here. The courtroom of struggle. Li Jie lit a torch to illuminate a stone wall. This was no ordinary wall. Li Jie summoned Wu Jin to attack the wall's surface. The surface stone blocks were shattered, revealing the tightly closed door inside. What Li Jie sought was not an ordinary trial courtroom, but a hidden secret realm left by the Lee family ancestors. Li Jie cut his palm. Then he sprinkled blood onto the bronze door. The ancient door slowly opened. Li Jie walked to the altar in the center and dripped his blood into it. A descendant of the Lee family wishes to challenge the struggle exam. Please allow the struggle. Li Jie's exam content had only one requirement: achieve victory in battle against himself. The number of attempts was unlimited. Li Jie vowed not to leave until he achieved victory. However, the challenge had only just begun when Li Jie's head was severed by the phantom. Li Jie abruptly sat up and reached for his neck. The sensation felt incredibly real, but this was merely an illusion, and such realistic intensity could drive an ordinary person to madness. Li Jie observed the phantom in the arena, wondering if he too could achieve such prowess. The phantom of the judgment court could utilize 100% of his abilities. The current Li Jie was far from unleashing his complete potential. If he could excavate all of his latent power, he would be able to prevent that previous strike. Then let us continue. The outcome was as expected. On the third attempt, Li Jie was pierced through the abdomen and perished. On the fifth attempt, although he blocked the phantom's sword, his neck was twisted and he died. Thus, Li Jie continued his relentless attempts, continuously meeting his demise. Finally, after the 80th attempt, he found his rhythm, and Li Jie understood his advantage. It was the freedom of infinite transformation, overwhelming adaptability, unpredictable liberty. Li Jie transformed the weapon prohibition into a spear. Clash after clash ensued. The movements of both combatants gradually synchronized. The phantom retreated one step, subsequently transforming the weapon prohibition into a longsword. The blade instantly pierced into Li Jie's abdomen. However, Li Jie grasped the phantom's arm with one hand and exclaimed excitedly, "You fool, I deliberately created that opening." The demon slayer descended from above, striking downward. The phantom gradually disintegrated. After passing through the judgment court, the hidden power within the Lee family bloodline would be awakened. In his previous life, Li Jie possessed only the most ordinary ability enhancement, but this time was different. A golden energy surrounded Li Jie. But what was this ability? Meanwhile, outside the secret realm, Li Jie's uncle, Li Teixing, was waiting anxiously outside the entrance. Since Li Jie had not emerged at the designated time, Li Teixing was quite helpless, thinking how much trouble would this boy cause at the naming ceremony. Moments later, Li Teixing sensed magical power fluctuations. Li Jie's figure slowly materialized. Upon appearing, Li Jie was about to collapse. Li Teixing hurried forward to catch Li Jie, asking if he was all right and urging him to stay strong. Li Jie weakly indicated he was manageable, but requested water and food as he was nearly starving. Li Teixing immediately felt relieved. Then he roared angrily, "You reckless child!" Upon returning to their residence, Moon was overwhelmed with excitement. She embraced Li Jie tightly and exclaimed emotionally, "Do you realize how worried I was? First encountering a high-level beast tamer, then facing the judgment court left behind by forgotten ancestors. I intended to scold you severely, but instead, welcome home, young master." Li Jie nodded in acknowledgement. After releasing Li Jie, Moon mentioned that the bath water was already prepared, and dinner would be ready once Li Jie finished bathing. Li Jie picked up the towel and asked where his aunt had gone, as he had expected her to be the first one to rush out. However, Moon delivered troubling news to Li Jie that his aunt was imprisoned in the dungeon. When Li Jie arrived at the dungeon, his aunt Li Jinghua said joyfully to him, "My dear, you've come. It's wonderful to see you appear here in good health. More importantly, what have you done to increase your magical power so significantly? You cannot even fully absorb this magical energy. Sit down quickly and practice with me right now." Li Jie interrupted Li Jinghua's words. Li Jinghua scratched her head awkwardly. The reason Li Jinghua was confined here was because she had caused a commotion in the control room. Upon hearing that Li Jie had encountered an assassination attempt by beast tamers, she became furious. She believed this was certainly the work of the family's upper echelon, and she cursed at the elders and her eldest brother in the control room. Li Jinghua said quietly, "I'm sorry. I thought they had done something strange to you. In that moment, I couldn't contain my anger. I was just very upset, thinking I would never see you again. It felt like having my throat blocked." To be honest, Li Jie had not been able to fully trust Li Jinghua until now, but at some point, he had already begun to regard Li Jinghua as family. Li Jie exhaled deeply and said, "Well, now is the time to accept it." Then Li Jie turned around and said, "I should be able to get you out soon. Just wait by yourself for a while." Li Jinghua waved her hand and said, "It's fine, don't force yourself." Li Jie said confidently, "I have a way. You don't need to worry. You'll be out soon anyway." Time moved to evening. Li Jie and his group waited at the airport. Family head Li Teixing stepped down from the aircraft. Looking at the family head who had disembarked, Li Jie had thought he had grown considerably during this naming ceremony. However, he could not even measure the gap between himself and his father. Li Teixing, walking over, noticed Li Jie's sharp gaze. This left Li Teixing somewhat incredulous. Li Teixing said indifferently, "I always say that those who do not strive have no place in the family. However, in this place, there is only one person who has competitive spirit against me." This statement left Li Jie and Li Hua bewildered. Who was this person referring to? Was it the eldest brother? Li Jie then realized that although he thought he had been restraining his emotions well, his father had still seen through him. Moments later in the family's banquet hall, because the naming ceremony was a very important matter for the Lai family. This banquet was extremely luxurious, with countless celebrities in attendance. At this moment, the butler found Li Jie in the corner. The butler told Li Jie that the family head was looking for him. Li Jie followed the butler with concern. What did his father want with him? He hoped it was not something serious. Upon arriving outside, Li Jie discovered that his eldest brother was actually with his father. In an instant, Li Jie guessed what this was about. Li Teixing said indifferently, "I'm looking for you to discuss what happened during the naming ceremony." According to Ming Zhen, he discovered outsiders had infiltrated and then ordered you to apprehend them. Was this entire matter something you devised? Li Jie thought to himself that it had indeed been discovered. Understanding that he could not escape, Li Jie straightened his body and said, "That's right, it was all my plan. The condition was 3 days access to the treasure pavilion, and I would not be affected by this incident." Li Teixing said without any emotional fluctuation, "Considering your contribution to this matter, I will forgive your false report, but there will be no next time." Li Jie bowed and said, "Yes, I understand. However, Ming Zhen will face punishment instead. This banquet is your responsibility. Go back now." Li Mingzhen nodded. Then he smiled at Li Jie and departed. Li Jie was somewhat worried. Would his eldest brother be all right? Li Teixing continued, "Apart from lying to me, this matter was clearly your achievement, and you will receive the reward Mingzhen promised. Finally, since you passed the trial of conflict, I will give you a reward of your choosing." After returning to the banquet, Li Teixing raised his voice from the main seat. "I express gratitude to friends who have come from afar, and may blessings descend upon these 2 children. Next, I will conduct the naming ceremony. The 8th daughter, Li Hua, please step forward. You who have been chosen by the Holy Sword always illuminate your surroundings with bright aura, symbolizing your unwavering commitment on the path of light. You shall be named Ruishuan." Li Hua thanked him joyfully. Next, 9th son Li Jie stepped forward. "You are strong yet sharp, while also being soft without bending. Like a blacksmith forging iron into a single solid piece, you have tempered yourself. No word could be more suitable to express your nature. You shall be named after iron." This ceremony was meant for Li Jie to live as strong as iron. However, this no longer holds any meaning now. I will not stop until I reach the pinnacle. My name is Li Jie. At this moment, Li Jinghua in the prison cell had nearly gone mad. She frantically shook the prison door while continuously cursing. The guards were quite helpless being scolded. Just then, the telephone nearby finally rang. The guard quickly opened the gate and told Li Jinghua she could leave. Li Jinghua immediately rushed out of the prison cell excitedly. Just as she ran outside, a voice called out to her. The person was Li Jie. Li Jinghua asked Li Jie in disbelief whether he had really rescued her. Li Jie nodded affirmatively. Then Li Jie handed Li Jinghua an envelope. After Li Jinghua opened it, Li Jie said calmly, "Aunt, you owe me a favor." The content of the letter was Li Jinghua's appointment as an elder. She was to serve as the teacher for the 9th son, Li Jie. Li Jie extended his hand and said, "Please take care of me, teacher." 3 whole years passed in this manner. Li Jie, now 13 years old, was about to participate in the family's training. Li Jie's student career was about to begin. Upon arriving at the training ground, Li Jie caused quite a commotion, though most of the comments were mocking him. They foolishly ridiculed Li Jie as merely lucky, questioning what abilities a mere illegitimate son could possess. Li Jie felt very irritated. All this talk about illegitimate son that was truly annoying. Just then, the legitimate daughter Li Ruixuan appeared. The people in the field immediately showered her with praise, forming a stark contrast with Li Jie. Li Ruixuan sneakily approached Li Jie to greet him. Li Jie nodded, indicating it had been a long time. Li Ruixuan said somewhat embarrassedly, "I hope you don't take what happened at the naming ceremony too seriously." Li Jie was somewhat puzzled. Li Ruixuan continued, "You know, when I said I was disappointed at that time. So it was about this matter. It seems this fellow hasn't become cold-blooded even after growing up." Then Li Jie took a deep breath and said, "I don't care about it at all." Li Ruixuan immediately became excited and said, "Really? That's great. Aren't you quite petty?" Li Jie was somewhat speechless. "What do you mean by that?" Li Ruixuan continued, "I heard that your aunt is your teacher, and you even entered the treasure pavilion." Li Jie was about to respond when a loud voice rang out from above. "Everyone be quiet. I will now conduct the class assignments. Students whose names are called should form 5 lines in front of the instructors." The students became nervous, fearing they would be assigned to poor classes. Li Jie understood why they would have such reactions. Since student training lasted 3 years, being assigned to a good class was very important. Each grade had 5 classes, and students with better talents would be assigned to higher level classes. Li Ruixuan was unsurprisingly assigned to Class 1. Next came Li Jie. Li Jie received the notification with a somewhat complex expression. Then he smiled calmly. Although Li Jie knew he would be targeted, who could have expected they would play tricks from the very beginning? Li Jie was assigned to Class 5, known as the garbage dump, where classmates were basically talentless individuals about to be advised to withdraw. Direct descendants of the Lee family were all assigned to classes based on their naming ceremony results, and those responsible for scoring were the Grand Lady and the Elders. Although they considered this a setback, for Li Jie this might actually be a good thing, as it would reduce quite a bit of trouble. An instructor told Li Jie to follow him, as Class 5 was on the other side. While following the instructor to Class 5, Li Jie saw Li Ruixuan. Li Ruixuan was furious that Li Jie had been assigned to Class 5. She believed Li Jie had suffered injustice and should immediately protest. However, Li Jie was completely indifferent to this. More important than this now was whether he could still graduate successfully in Class 5. The students assigned to Class 5 were all dejected, hanging their heads without any fighting spirit. Just then, someone approached Li Jie. "You're the youngest child of the family, right?" Li Jie nodded. That person continued, "I really wanted to greet you. My name is Jin Han. I'm the son of a blacksmith employed by the Lee family. It's my honor to be in the same class as the young master." Li Jie was somewhat surprised. Jin Han, he had never heard this name in his previous life. Li Jie said indifferently, "Why me?" Jin Han scratched his head and said, "Because you're the center of everyone's attention. I've always wanted to meet you." He didn't seem to be lying. Then Li Jie said, "Your name is Jin Han, right? What are your thoughts on being assigned to Class 5? Jin Han responded, "Perhaps they think my current abilities are suitable for Class 5, but no one knows what the future holds." Li Jie was somewhat surprised. Then he smiled calmly and said, "You pass." The Class 5 instructor was named Li Jinghao. Li Jinghao told everyone that new students were joining today, so there would be no training. Everyone should introduce themselves to each other. Li Jinghao remained full of energy and enthusiasm. In his previous life, he had even provided private guidance to Li Jie when he couldn't keep up. Li Jinghao then asked Kui Rene to explain some precautions to everyone. Kui Rene scratched his head and said, "Hello, newcomers. My name is Kui Rene. Although I'm somewhat shy, I've been held back for 2 years and have been class monitor for 2 years. Everyone has been standing for a long time and must be tired. Those who want to sit can sit down. We'll select a class monitor later. Although we are students, we will also be assigned tasks, so the class monitor actually functions similar to a squad leader. Apart from the instructor who is responsible for our educational training, all other matters are handled by each class's monitor." Someone raised their hand to ask how the class monitor was determined. Kui Rene responded, "Although I don't know how other classes choose, our class decides by voting after simple training. Let's begin training now. This is to test each other's strength, so please don't use magic. There will be brief rests after each duel." Just then, Li Jie spoke up. Are you joking? Kui Renhe said nervously. Young Master Lee Cheol, are you dissatisfied with what I said? Lee Cheol said coldly, I'm dissatisfied with everything you've done. Pull yourself together. This is the Martial Veneration family. If you want to play student games, don't enter military school but should go to ordinary schools without danger instead. Kui Renhe retorted, what you're saying is too excessive. I just wanted to resolve problems in a more peaceful manner. Lee Cheol thrust his wooden sword into the arena and declared loudly, I know you cannot understand my words. All of you, come at me one by one. I will defeat every single one of you. Moments later, Lee Cheol had defeated everyone except Kui Renhe. Kui Renhe below was utterly shocked. Lee Cheol on the platform looked at Kui Renhe. Now there's only one left. Come up. During the exchange, Kui Renhe couldn't understand why Lee Cheol had to be so absolute. This was clearly a battle without any reward. This was just a student class. This was just simple sparring. The current Lee Cheol was even too exhausted to prepare for a proper attack. However, Kui Renhe knew in his heart why Lee Cheol was doing this. He himself used to be just as fierce, just as eager for victory. I thought I had matured. I thought I had learned to accept reality. But now I want to win. I want to win so badly. Yet Lee Cheol knocked the wooden sword from his hand. Kui Renhe clutched his wrist and cried out in pain. Lee Cheol breathed a sigh of relief and said, someone take him to the infirmary. However, Kui Renhe roared that it wasn't over yet. He picked up his weapon and desperately attacked Lee Cheol. Lee Cheol saw that Kui Renhe was gripping the sword with his left hand. Was it because his right hand was broken? Kui Renhe's expression was different from before. Lee Cheol knocked away Kui Renhe's sword and said calmly, no, it's already over. Then Lee Cheol struck Kui Renhe's abdomen with his sword. Kui Renhe was completely defeated. Take him away. I treat every second as an hour, and every hour as a year. Who doesn't know that compromising slightly would make life more comfortable? But if you don't strive every moment, then ultimately everything you have will be taken away. To protect everything I possess, I will fight to the death, even if only one breath remains. Have any of you lived this way? This is true combat. Moments later, Li Jinghao approached Lee Cheol and accused him. You went too far. 4 children have broken bones, and 3 children have organ damage. Lee Cheol responded, if they want to survive in the Martial Veneration family, they must be able to endure such injuries. Li Jinghao retorted, these children all have their difficulties. Lee Cheol said coldly, Instructor Li Jinghao, the students have all understood. Do I need to explain further to the instructor? People like you are quite rare in the Martial Veneration family. You're a good person. But those children are members of the Martial Veneration family. If they've taken the wrong path, you should change their direction, even if it means playing the villain in front of them. Do what you should do. The next day, upon arriving at the training ground, although Lee Cheol could sense that some people showed him anger and contempt, not a single person avoided his gaze. If they were still as dejected as yesterday, then there would be absolutely no hope. Just then a voice sounded from behind Lee Cheol. You've arrived, young master. The person was Kui Renhe. After exchanging pleasantries, Kui Renhe asked, May I ask you a question? Lee Cheol nodded, indicating he certainly could. Kui Renhe said seriously, How can I become as strong as you, young master? Lee Cheol indicated that he hadn't reached the level where he could teach others, but your eyes are very good, and it might be your intuition at work. Yesterday you dodged my feints 3 times in a row. You can try to utilize this point. I think you lean more toward technique rather than strength. If you put everything into what you already possess, then someday you will reap the rewards. Kui Renhe nodded as if he understood. Just then, a voice rang out. Hello, I suppose you can understand my current state when it comes to training. Don't say again that I don't know about struggle. I came to find you because I don't want to be lectured anymore. Lee Cheol smiled with satisfaction. Changed. Everyone has changed. Moments later, the coach assembled the students. Li Jinghao looked at his injured students. They all looked tired, and the atmosphere was different too. Yesterday they were still relaxed, but now they were all tense because of one person. Li Jinghao spoke up. I had intended to test your basic abilities today, but given your current condition, then Li Jinghao clenched his fist. None of this matters. Continue with the basic testing. 10 hours of continuous high-intensity training. Even Lee Cheol felt tired, but he knew he couldn't rest. The students also discussed how the coach had changed. If it were the previous coach, he would usually let them rest after seeing them injured. Lee Cheol walked to the podium and began speaking. I don't need to introduce myself, do I? I'm the Class 5 monitor, Lee Cheol. Yesterday, Kui Renhe already said that unless the coach has other rules, everything is decided by the monitor. My training is very harsh. Those willing to accept it should follow me. I won't force unwilling weaklings. Someone below couldn't help but curse, what an arrogant bastard. Lee Cheol knocked on the ground and said calmly, If you're not convinced, you can challenge me anytime. As long as you defeat me, I'll give you the monitor position. Now let's begin training. Fight with the person next to you. In the end, only 6 people persisted to the end. The others all gave up midway. Lee Cheol told everyone that this was enough for today and they could go home. After Lee Cheol left, someone complained, "We've suffered so much because of that illegitimate son." Someone agreed, "That's right, I also hate that illegitimate son. What's the point of doing this? I don't want to listen to him anymore." Kui Rene interrupted. "Stop talking. I'm disappointed in myself, and the young master must be exhausted too." The two tried to persuade Kui Rene. "Weren't we fine last year? Why don't you stop listening to him too?" Kui Rene said regretfully, "It's precisely because of that attitude that I was held back. If I can't change this time, then I'll have completely become a loser. So I want to change myself, even if it means being shattered to pieces. It's not that the young master forced me to do it. I want to struggle myself. This is truly the last time. So everyone, pull yourselves together. Don't be rebellious and don't play dumb." Meanwhile, Lee Cheol was studying magic with his aunt. Lee Cheol concentrated the magic power in his hands, but every time he tried to process the magic power, it would dissipate. Li Jinghua was going crazy. She hadn't expected such problems would arise upon entering 3-star level. Lee Cheol also couldn't help but sigh. If only there were books about how ancient people used magic power. Wu Jin's memories were indeed useful, but he could no longer read the next segment, although his gains in the treasure pavilion were considerable. Long ago, there was a terrifying monster shrouded in darkness that even the nation's bravest warriors could not defeat. However, a hero successfully sealed the monster. The king praised his achievements and rewarded him with land. The hero was moved by the king's grace. Thus he forged the holy sword named Wu Jin. Wu Jin's memories were still very helpful to Li Cheol. Li Jinghua praised him. "But you're progressing entirely on your own. How miraculous that is. I believe you will definitely overcome this problem." Li Cheol spoke up. "What does reaching 3-star level mean?" Li Jinghua responded. "You'll be able to use chi techniques and enhancement arts, though you still have a long way to go before you can use these 2 abilities. By the way, how are things in your training class? You look tired. Do you need my help? Just wait and see. I won't disappoint you." The next day, Li Cheol was speechless. When he had heard his aunt say to trust her knowledge, he had already had a bad feeling. Li Jingkao introduced from above. "Today we're having a special magic class taught by Elder Li Jinghua from the Council of Elders." Everyone applauded. Li Jinghua said somewhat embarrassedly, "Oh, this is quite embarrassing. I don't like dragging things out." Class begins now. Watching Li Jinghua teach, Li Cheol discovered that Li Jinghua's teaching level had also improved significantly. After lecturing on theory for a long time, Li Jinghua clapped her hands, indicating the boring content was finished. "Now comes the interesting part. I'll teach you my research on how to enhance magic." Li Jinghao looked puzzled. "Wasn't this supposed to end here?" Li Jinghua indicated it certainly wasn't. "This was just the beginning. Everyone sit up straight. I'll only show you once." Li Jinghua came behind Li Cheol. Li Cheol asked what Li Jinghua was doing. Li Jinghua said calmly, "Once direct bloodline children attend class, they receive various kinds of support, so I must do the same." Li Cheol expressed his gratitude for this. After completing the technique, Li Jinghua said, "Theoretically, this will double your magical power. Isn't that wonderful?" Li Cheol nodded and said yes. Moments later, Li Shenghao clapped and said, "Everyone pay attention. Next, we'll duel using the magical techniques the teacher taught us. Choose your partners." Kui Rene found Li Cheol. "Young master, please be my opponent. I won't show you any mercy." Li Cheol gladly accepted. "This is what I wanted. Come on." Looking at Li Cheol, who was pressing the previous class leader in the training ground to fight. Even Li Jinghua sighed that Li Cheol was too ruthless. Just then, she heard the discussion voices of nearby students. "I really don't like that illegitimate son. Even though he's looked down upon because of his illegitimate status, he's different from us. His physical qualities are much better than ours. He's naturally stronger than us." The person beside agreed. "Yes, we've always put in great effort too. He doesn't understand anything at all." Hearing this, Li Jinghua interrupted their conversation. "Were you just talking about my student?" The two immediately bowed and apologized. Li Jinghua said coldly, "What do you understand? How can you say such things about that child?" Just then a voice came. "It's not just us who don't know anything. Isn't the young master the same? We've also made enormous efforts, yet he still insults us, as if everything we do is meaningless. Since we grew up in different environments, isn't it normal that there's a gap between us?" Li Jinghua said calmly, "It seems you really don't know anything. However, perhaps not knowing is also a good thing. If you knew how different his day is from yours, you would realize that your current lives are nothing but playing house." Jin Hao was quite unconvinced by this. He's just an illegitimate son. What could be so different? Let me see. After training ended, Li Cheol sat aside, resting. Jin Hao looked at Li Cheol, feeling indignant. "Look, he's no different from us. He's just naturally stronger than us." But Jin Hao decided to further verify his thoughts. He and Shi Gang and Niu Fen, who had just been discussing Li Jie, decided to follow Li Jie. He wanted to see exactly how Li Jie's day differed from theirs. They followed Li Jie to the research institute, but Li Jie didn't come out for a long time. Niu Fen, crouching on the ground, yawned and said, "Shi Gang, let's go home. We trained so long during the day, I'm sleepy." Shi Gang nodded in agreement. Really don't know what that illegitimate son is doing inside. After speaking, the two got up, wanting to leave. But just then Li Jie finally came out. Jin Hao thought Li Jie was finally going home. However, Li Jie went to the training ground exclusive to the martial veneration family's direct descendants. Hearing the training sounds from inside, the few were shocked. Niu Fen said, "Are those training sounds? That illegitimate son? No, the young master seems quite remarkable. Let's stop here." What the young master said was right. But Jin Hao stubbornly said, "I also do personal training. We're no different." Niu Fen and the other were somewhat speechless. They then told Jin Hao they would leave first. Jin Hao firmly believed he was no different from Li Jie. He had to prove this. Li Jie, leaving the training ground, was finally going home this time. Just then a voice rang out. "Who's there?" It was a patrolling security guard. After seeing Jin Hao's attire, the guard said, "Oh, it's a student. Although young master Li Jie usually wanders around outside at this time too, I didn't expect him to bring a classmate this time." Jin Hao said frantically, "We have some urgent business this time." The guard shone his flashlight and said, "This already violates school rules. Go back quickly." Jin Hao nodded hurriedly. It was already 2 a.m., but the light in Li Jie's room still hadn't gone out. Jin Hao left reluctantly. Time came to 5 a.m. at the training ground. Jin Hao leisurely arrived at the training ground. However, Li Jie had arrived even earlier than him. Li Jie looked very tired, even though he was born with direct bloodline and powerful magical support. Was it really okay for a 13 or 14-year-old to sleep only 3 or 4 hours daily? What is my life like? When I go home, I rest. I'm either watching TV or playing games. Although I often do private training too, I get sleep and appropriate entertainment. Jin Hao spoke up. "Aren't you tired?" Li Jie said coldly. "I guess you're one of the people who followed me." Jin Hao nodded. "Yes, because you have direct bloodline and are naturally different from us." Li Jie responded, "I've lived this way since childhood. Of course I'm tired when I can't sleep more than a few hours." Jin Hao said shamefully, "Why do you push yourself to this extent?" Li Jie stood up and patted Jin Hao's shoulder. "You should know the reason." At this moment, Jin Hao finally understood exactly how much he differed from Li Jie. Meanwhile, family head Li Teixing was practicing swordsmanship at the training ground. Butler Kui told Li Teixing that the documents he had ordered were ready. Butler Kui said with some concern, "Aren't the 7th and 8th floor secret chambers too dangerous for students?" Li Teixing responded, "We can stockpile weapons and food, but talent isn't like that. They won't become talent on their own. We must cultivate people who can survive." Butler Kui nodded, indicating he understood. Then Butler Kui told Li Teixing about Li Jie's situation. Li Teixing said with some satisfaction, "His eyes have been different since childhood. He has sharp eyes that want to reclaim everything. However, convincing others and leading others are completely different matters. We will modify this test. Rishuan is also among that group, so I hope you can increase the difficulty. It's time to see whether she truly has the potential to become a leader."